What if the key to unlocking higher consciousness wasn't some mystical, far-out concept, but a biological reality? Something hidden in plain sight inside every one of us, and maybe, just maybe, intentionally kept quiet. Today, we are diving deep into declassified CIA documents and cutting-edge science that all point to one single molecule as the master key to human potential.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the missing piece, a real-life government mystery. Then we'll explore what's being called nature's quantum computer. After that, we'll decode the gateway frequency, a method for altering consciousness. Then we'll get practical and learn how to activate your antenna. And finally, we'll talk about what it truly means to reclaim your heritage and use this knowledge to change your life.
So, let's jump right in. Section 1, the missing piece. We're about to uncover a declassified government mystery and the one biological clue that changes everything.
So, when you actually read these declassified gateway documents, they are incredibly detailed. I mean, they're talking about brainwave frequencies, quantum physics, energy fields, but there's this huge glaring hole in the entire report. They never once name the biological interface, the physical thing in our bodies that makes it all work. That missing piece of the puzzle is melanin.
So let's back up. Where did this all come from? Picture this. It's 2003, and the CIA drops a bombshell. They declassify a 1983 report from the U.S. Army. And this wasn't some fringe theory. This was a formal, military-commissioned assessment of something called the gateway process, a step-by-step method designed to systematically alter and expand human consciousness. And this wasn't something that just popped up overnight. The story really starts back in 1958 with a guy named Robert Monroe, a radio executive who started having these spontaneous out-of-body experiences. This led him to found the Monroe Institute. By 1983, the military was taking his work seriously enough for a commander to write a full analysis. And then, in 2003, we all finally got to see it, a government-validated roadmap for expanding your own mind. But like we said, the official report was missing the how, the biological key. And that brings us to the real heart of the matter. Section 2, Nature's Quantum Computer. Let's get into the absolutely astonishing science of melanin. You know, most of us hear the word melanin and we just think, pigment, skin color. But that's like calling a supercomputer a box of sand. The real science shows that melanin is a complex biopolymer. It's an organic semiconductor. That means it's a piece of biological technology. It's an energy transducer. It literally converts energy from one form, like light, into another, like electricity. And it acts as a quantum information processor, right inside you.
And get this, not all melanin is the same. There are three main types. You have eumelanin, that's the familiar brown to black pigment. Pheomelanin is the reddish-yellow type, but the one we really need to zoom in on, the real game changer here, is neuromelanin. This is a special form found only in your brain, and it actually builds up over your entire life.
To really get how incredible this stuff is, just think about a normal copper wire. It's a conductor, right? It just lets electricity flow through it. It's passive. Melanin is a whole different beast. It's a quantum semiconductor. It only conducts electricity when it's switched on by light or sound or an energy field. And here's the part that should blow your mind. It can maintain quantum states at normal body temperature, something our best labs struggle to do with supercooling. It's not a passive wire, it's an active processor.
I mean, seriously, these scientifically documented properties of melanin sound like something out of a comic book. It absorbs energy across the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Think about that. Radio waves, visible light, all the way up to gamma rays. It's piezoelectric, which means it can turn physical pressure and sound directly into electricity. It maintains quantum coherence, acting like a quantum computer inside your body. And on top of all that, it's one of the most powerful antioxidants known to science.
Okay, so let's get back to that special brain melanin, neuromelanin. Some scientists even call it the brain's dark matter. And it isn't just randomly sprinkled around in there. No, it is strategically, densely concentrated in the absolute command centers of the brain, the parts responsible for consciousness, motivation, and attention.
So where is it exactly? Two of the most important spots are the substantia nigra, which literally translates to black substance because it's so pigmented with neuromelanin. This area is central to your motivation and reward system. The other key place is the locus coeruleus, or blue spot, which is basically the brain's control tower for arousal, attention, and how you respond to stress. This is not a coincidence. This is strategic biological design.
So, we have the biological hardware, melanin.
Now, let's look at the technique described in those CIA files. This is Section 3, the gateway frequency, and how it was designed to literally engineer altered states of consciousness.
The whole engine behind the gateway process is something called hemisync. That's short for hemispheric synchronization. Basically, it's a state where the two sides of your brain, the logical, analytical left side and the creative, intuitive right side, stop doing their own thing and start vibrating together in perfect harmony. Same frequency, same phase. And when they do that, it creates this incredibly powerful whole brain state that acts as a gateway to expanded awareness.
Now, to get hemisync, you first have to understand brain waves. Our brains are always humming at different frequencies. Right now, listening to this, you're probably in beta. That's normal, focused thinking mode. When you relax, you drift into alpha. That's like a bridge to deeper states. But theta? Theta is where the magic really happens. That's the frequency of deep meditation, creativity, and powerful intuition. The whole goal of the gateway process is to teach you how to consciously guide your brain into that profound theta state while you're still wide awake.
And the technology they use to do this is almost deceptively simple. It's called binaural beats. You just put on some headphones, in your left ear you might hear a tone at 100 Hz, and your right a slightly different tone, maybe 107 Hz. Your brainstem hears these two separate tones and, in an effort to make sense of it, it creates a third, phantom beat at the difference between the two, in this case, 7 Hz. And through a process called brainwave entrainment, your brain's own electrical rhythm starts to match that phantom beat, guiding you right into that creative 7 Hz theta state.
Okay, so we've got the biology, melanin, and we've got the technology, hemisync. Now for the most important part, where we put it all together. Section 4, activating your antenna. This is where biology finally meets quantum physics.
And this brings us back to that big question, the one the original Gateway report could never really answer. How can simple sound waves, just a mechanical vibration, create such a profound effect, a gateway in consciousness?
The answer is so elegant and so powerful. It comes down to one of those superpowers we mentioned earlier, melanin's piezoelectric effect. This is the biological switch that makes the whole thing possible.
So here's what's actually happening. Those sound waves from the headphones create tiny mechanical pressures in your brain tissue. The neuromelanin in your brainstem feels that physical pressure, and because it's piezoelectric, it converts that pressure directly into electrical signals. These signals then influence your neurons, helping them all to fire in sync. Simply put, sound becomes electricity inside your brain thanks to melanin.
This leads to a really powerful way to picture what's going on, and it comes right from the source material. You should think of melanin as a biological antenna system, one designed by nature to both transmit and receive information.
And this isn't just a loose metaphor. The fact that neuromelanin is so densely packed in the substantia nigra and locus coeruleus, the core of our arousal and awareness systems, means it's perfectly positioned to act like a sophisticated antenna array, constantly processing information that is fundamental to how we experience reality.
Now, here is a crucial piece of the puzzle. It turns out neuromelanin isn't distributed equally across all people. Scientific studies using advanced MRIs that are sensitive to neuromelanin have confirmed that, on average, people of African descent have higher concentrations of it in these key brain regions when compared to people of European or Asian descent.
So let's connect the dots. If neuromelanin is the antenna, then a higher concentration of it logically means you could have a more sensitive, more powerful biological antenna. The implication here is pretty direct. Individuals with higher neuromelanin might find that techniques like the gateway process work more readily, more quickly, and maybe even more profoundly for them.
All of this brings us to our final and honestly most important section, reclaiming your heritage. This is all about moving from this suppressed science to real, tangible, personal empowerment.
Let's be absolutely clear about one thing. What we're talking about here is not superstition. It's not wishful thinking or philosophy. This is verifiable science. It's biology, it's physics, it's neurology, all pointing to the same ancient truth.
You know, this information completely reframes a narrative that's been pushed for centuries. A high concentration of melanin is not a deviation, it is the ancestral human condition. It is the original human blueprint, an evolutionary adaptation to the intense sunlight near the equator.
The real power in this knowledge is how it creates a bridge between traditional wisdom, especially ancient African spiritual traditions, and modern hard science. It validates experiences that our ancestors had, and it explains the clear biological foundation for those experiences. So what does this actually mean for you today? Activating this internal system isn't just a thought experiment. It has profound practical applications. We're talking about the biological basis for enhanced intuition, that gut feeling that is always right. It points to the potential for abilities like remote viewing, something the military spent millions researching. It opens the door to energy healing and manifestation, using your biological antenna to consciously interact with the quantum field of reality. This is about shifting from being a passive observer to an active creator of your life.
The goal here is not just to inform you, but to empower you. It's about providing a solid, scientific foundation for you to reclaim innate abilities that have been suppressed, dismissed, or written off as myth, especially for those of us of African descent who carry this rich biological heritage.
Look, the science is there, the history is there, the only question left is the one for you. Your quantum heritage, your biological birthright, is waiting inside you at this very moment. Are you ready to reclaim it?